stuff we all get, swag, which is genuinely what I thought it stood for. Matt just informed me it comes from a Nordic word, Swedish, Norwegian, I don't know, something along those lines. It goes back with swagger, showing off. So you get promotional products to show off. We've all been given things that are super cool at a bunch of different conferences, and probably a lot of us send them to clients as part of our shock and awe package or a closed case package, or maybe to show appreciation to employees. So I really am super excited to be able to bring Matt Deutschman on with Double Take Promotions to talk about the best way to do this. So you're not just paying a bunch of money to give somebody something that ends up in the trash, but truly a way to show that wonderful appreciation. So for those of you that don't know Matt, he owns Double Take Promotional Marketing, specializing in promotional products, branded merchandise, and custom decorated apparel. Matt and his team take a strategic marketing approach to working with clients to understand their brand and target market. I don't know if that sounds familiar to everybody. That's what we push all the time. And from there, provide that effective solution to their marketing goals. Double Take has established expertise working with clients in the finance, professional services, advertising, marketing, higher education, and construction industries. Matt likes to say that promo products are an advertising tactic, but what he's most interested in are the strategic initiatives that Double Take can support. Most often, those initiatives are in the realm of client appreciation, referral generation, culture building, employee engagement, and of course, recruiting. Through the consultative process he employs, Matt's able to uncover needs and establish himself as the go-to resource to his clients and as a connector between his clients and other professionals. He's a fourth generation in his family in the industry, founded Double Take in 2010. He's also a children's book author, published his first book in 2020. He's got another one coming out for the holidays. His work can be found at www.mattdeutschman.com, DEUTSCHMAN.com. And when it comes to Double Take Promotional Marketing, talks about two different things. One, the distinct group of client industries they focus on, which allows them to develop that true expertise in those verticals. And two, taking that strategic approach to understanding the client's organization on a foundational level, rather than just throwing stupid product ideas at the wall and hoping something sticks. Matt, I am super excited to have you with us today.
Glad to be here. Thanks, Jordan. Svaga, the Nordic term for swagger. Yes.
There we go. I love it. So for anybody who is listening to this and not watching it and therefore can't pull up the comments that we'll drop, what's the best way, I guess, what's the website for Double Take?
Yeah, Double Take website is doubletakepromotionalmarketing.com. It's long words, but it's all just spelled normally.
There we go. Super easy. All right, so we're going to talk Matt Deutschman as the man with lots of swag, how to use promotional products to show true appreciation. That's our topic of conversation for today. Before we get into that, though, I do want to talk about our most recent episode. Our most recent episode, we had two guests on, Yev Muchnick and Jason Weiner. We talked about employee-owned firms, or really how you put your employees first and truly create that employee-centric firm to not only attract, but then retain the best staff. I know as everybody goes through the Great Resignation, it's a huge thing. So you might want to pick up some of the pointers from that episode. But one of those is going to be about promotional products to show true appreciation. So we will dive into that with Matt here. So Matt, now that we are here talking about swag, promo products, true appreciation, I'd like to start with your story. I love the concept of 4 generations in the industry, but talk to me about like your journey in that.
Yeah, sure. Well, so my great-grandfather, Paul, and my grandfather, Maynard, founded the Paul May Company back in 1935. It was a factory in New York City. They were making vinyl desk folders and portfolios and wallets and card cases, all custom imprinted for the promotional products industry. My dad ran the company for 30 plus years. After college, I went to work for my dad on kind of a temporary basis, just needed something stable while I was doing some other things. And he was going through a move in his factory. And so I was on the supplier side of the industry and got to really learn a lot about it. One day I was looking out the window of my dad's office and there was a strip mall next door with like 5 or 6 stores. And I said to my dad, hey, I bet you I could make at least one sale just talking to the owners of those businesses. And, he said, all right, give it a shot. But the way the promotional products industry is set up, we have suppliers, which my dad was, and then we have distributors, which I am now, who then sell to the individual clients. Suppliers don't sell direct. So my dad put me in contact with a friend of his who was a longtime distributor, a client of his. I went to work for that gentleman on a kind of a part-time commission only basis, and thought it would be a lot of fun to drive around my hometown in New York and knock on doors of businesses all day. And I learned shortly that that was not the way to really effectively get sales. It wasn't the greatest use of my time just driving around, but I learned a lot, and faced a lot of rejection, which I think makes you stronger in business and sets you up for for some kind of future success or learning. So that's kind of how it started.
We had Tracy Matney on about a week or so ago talking about selling like encyclopedias, and like literally she would sprint door to door just so she would not have time to let it sink in about people like slamming the door in her face or spraying her with a hose. But I want to use this in a productive manner from law firm owners, because look, we get rejection all the time. We suck at sales. Can you walk me through some of that methodology of the transition that you made? Like, look, driving around wasn't the best use of my time. Instead, it was better to do what?
Yeah, well, so first, someone recommended I start this thing called networking. I didn't know what that was, right? So that's where networking, building relationships with people, getting to know people, understanding what you need, not just trying to sell you something, and really becoming a good connector and listening and understanding the inner workings of other people's businesses. That's where I started to really see traction, when I was able to be of use to someone other than just the products and services that I sell. So, I mean, in a sense, that is related to this advertising medium that we do, because, like you said in the rundown of my bio, it's not just about throwing stuff against the wall and hoping it sticks. It's really getting deep and understanding our clients, understanding their target market, which I know is something that you're huge about with your law firm clients, is understand your ideal customer, understand who you're really going after, and then you can, when you start there, you can then build out a strategy for how best to reach that individual. It's called account-based marketing a lot in B2B these days. So that's kind of the approach that we take.
Well, and look, for those of you that follow me, I talk about making things consistent and cohesive and genuine. So look at what Matt's talking about here. Like, look, I am building true relationships with people to connect our businesses, who I then want to get to know on a good basis so that we actually understand their product and their needs so that we can fill it in the right manner. This isn't a situation where you're, running a bunch of ads about how I understand your law firm. Like, let's get these products. Like, you're really starting that from day one. And I just freaking love it, man. And I appreciate the shout out, because like that is totally what we talk about, because guess what? As you know, and as your clients know, it's the way to be more effective, by really knowing, by making these things connect, by making this true understanding.
Yeah, I mean, just a quick story. I once had a client tell me, "Oh, I just found this thing in my junk drawer. Can you do these? I would love to give them as gifts for my clients." And I was like, "Where'd you find it? You found it in your junk drawer? Is that where you wanted to wind up?" So we have to really we have to understand the psychology of our target market, and understand, demographically, any way you slice it, who that person is, what they're doing, how they profile, the things that are going to be important to them, and make the most immediate impact upon receipt, and then also have staying power to have long lasting impact, and something that people are really going to use over time, and just, feel that appreciation going forward on a long-term basis.
Oops, sorry. Yeah. So I want to break this down into 5 categories. You broke this down into 5 categories. I think this makes the most sense. We're talking about client appreciation, referral generation, culture building, employee engagement, and recruiting. Am I right in those 5?
Yeah. Those are, so again, like that, it sounds weird for someone who, runs a product-based business to say, but I'm product agnostic. I don't care what products my clients do, as long as it's most effective for their strategic initiatives that they're working on. And so those 5 things are the strategic initiatives that I just find fascinating. And I love having conversations about, well, how exactly do you do client appreciation? Like, how you say referral business is, referrals are very important to your business. Well, how do you go about incentivizing referrals? How do you go about showing appreciation when someone gives you a referral, staying top of mind with your referral sources? How do you go about that? Those are the conversations I love having.
Awesome. All right. So we're going to dive into those 5 categories. Before we do that, though, I want to talk about something that we've worked together to implement. As you all know, we do a ton of CRM automation work. So getting you into the system, getting these automated follow-ups and whatnot. So as part of that, a lot of clients reach out to us about implementing a physical component to that automated outreach. So guess what? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. We partnered up with Matt to allow for a lot of this to be automated inside of what you're already doing. So you add in that new lead, you list it as a referral from so-and-so. It can automatically shoot an email over to Matt's team. They can get a thank you gift on the way. The case closes. You want to have, a package along those lines. It'll automatically shoot it over, get that stuff together. You want a shock and awe package for every new lead. That new lead gets entered, etc. So we have all sorts of things we can do to work with Matt to get this lined up automatically inside the stuff you're already doing at your firm, which really helps. So with that being said, all right, we're talking client appreciation 1. So walk me through, I don't know what's the best use. Like, are we talking, the best examples you've had, or really if you want to talk the methodology of coming up with what's the right promotional product to show that client appreciation, whatever makes the most sense for you, then we'll do referral gen, culture building, employee engagement, and recruiting.
Sure. Yeah, it's with client appreciation, as with any like gifting, right? Holidays are coming up. We're all thinking about, oh, what am I going to get my wife for Christmas? What am I going to get my kids? It all starts with knowing your recipient, right? So if we truly had the time, and if we were truly going to get a personal custom gift for every single person on our list, like we do for our wife, our kids, our parents, our close friends and relatives, that's the ideal way of doing it. Don't get me wrong. I don't order 20 of the same thing and then give one to my wife, one to my mom, one to my dad, one to each of my kids. I don't do that in my personal life. But when it's between either doing that or doing nothing, the next best thing is to do something that at least gets to the heart of what's going to appeal the most to the most amount of people. And so that's where we have a conversation with our clients to understand their target market, their brand, how they like to come across, what type of messaging they want to get across to their clients, and the understanding their target market, what's something that those people are going to appreciate and use on an ongoing basis so that it doesn't wind up in the junk drawer. For the program that you mentioned, which is specific to law firms for clients and strategic partners and referral sources, we curated a list of products that are some of the things that are the top gifts for law firms to give to their clients. So it's not the same products that we would do for a construction firm or for an accounting firm or so on and so forth. So there is thought that goes into it to say, okay, most firms that don't do the ultra personalized, they do nothing. Don't do nothing, do something. And so we have to understand what's going to be the most effective for the most amount of people.
Yeah. And it's amazing to me, what you talked about in there about knowing your audience. Cause like I was talking to Morris Lilienthal, or he presented on this, and he was talking about they putting together these calendars. Maybe it was him or Bernard Nomberg. Anyway, they're in Alabama. So they have these calendars. It's got the Alabama football schedule, the Auburn football schedule, and how much people love those. But if you're sitting there in, Maine or Delaware or a state that's not as bleeding college football, that may not have the same impact, even though it's the same item, even though it's the same practice area, even though it's the same firm size, even though, whatever it is along those lines. So great stuff.
I'm sure that doesn't go over too well in Florida by you, Jordan, either.
Well, it'd just be a lot bigger. Oh, well, listen, let's be honest. At this point, with what Saban's done, as a Dolphins fan, I'll hold a grudge, but the guy's been successful. But our calendar would have to have 6 different panels on it these days, and probably still have Alabama. But it is what it is. When you get into the client appreciation side of it versus the referral generation, how does the thought process change with the gift?
Again, it all comes down to target market and knowing that target market. Depends what type of law firm you are, but if you're a B2C type law firm, personal injury type firm, you're serving the consumer. If you're a business law firm, or if you're if you're the type of firm that's dealing mostly in a B2B realm, you're working with business clients, so that target market and what's important to them and the type of gifts that are going to land best differ a little bit. So it's similar with strategic partners. When you're thanking a referral source as a law firm, now we're back into a B2B setting. We're talking about probably other law firms, other trusted advisors, which is a term I think is a little bit overused, but other people that really have the ear of potential clientele. Maybe it's financial advisors, depending on the type of law firm. Maybe accountants. Maybe it's maybe it's doctors. I mean, it really depends on the type of law that you're practicing, but generally speaking, it's a B2B situation again, where you're showing appreciation to other business owners, so that the type of gift that you're sending has to reflect that. So, and again, I think, referral sources are sometimes lost in the shuffle. We have these two funnels in our businesses, whether we are aware of them or not. We all are very aware of our sales funnel. We know how many, prospects need to go into the top, what our sales process is to take a prospect through our cycle to come out as a client out of the bottom of the funnel. We know our numbers pretty well with that. What we don't,
or at least you should.
Or at least you should. What we don't focus so much on is the referral source, or just like this sort of nebulous relationship funnel of like all the people that I come in contact with, and how to identify who among those people is a good potential strategic partner and referral source, and take them through a process so that they come out the bottom as a referral source who can feed the other funnel, farther down than from the top of it. So it's really understanding that target market as well, and doing something to incentivize and show appreciation for the referrals that come from those relationships.
Dude, I love that. So I love the B2B versus B2C take on it. And then, obviously, look, if you can turn every other client into a referral source, if you can turn, a 1 out of every 20 people that you come across into a potential referral source, I mean, you're going to grow and grow and grow. That's incredible. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, a referral source may never be a client, but I don't care if they're never a client if they feed me 5 clients a year. That's way better than one client who may have one project a year. So it really that those numbers and that kind of distinction exists in the legal profession as well.
Yeah, well, and I'll take it a step farther than that. You also have, like, I call them, Stacey Brown Randall calls them, and I have jumped on it, the centers of influence people, who may not send you referrals, but may send you referral sources. So now, like, maybe there's that realtor, who knows a bunch of chiropractors, who connects you to send you clients for PI side. And now you've got, somebody who's, it's one thing to send you a couple cases. It's one thing to send you a couple people that each send you a couple cases. It gets exponential growth. And obviously, you want to incentivize the referral generation and do a great job, and make sure you're following your bar ethics rules, and make sure you're being a fantastic attorney, et cetera, et cetera. But this can definitely be a part of it.
Those chains of relationships and referrals fascinate me. I love doing, and the longer you're in business, the farther back they get, where you have a client and you're like, wait a second, so-and-so was referred by that person who I met through that thing, who was introduced to me by that guy who invited me to this event. It's really fun mapping how that works, and and there's a science to that also, because it's not just about sending gifts at that stage. It's also identifying where is a good use of your time, if they feed those chains that lead to referral sources.
Yeah, and it was interesting. Actually, I guess I was listening to Stacey's podcast, so I'm going to give her a second shout out. So there's a difference between checking in and staying top of mind. And the part that I love about that really good promotional product is that can be phenomenal top of mind awareness. The calling somebody every 30 days, the swinging by the office every 3 months, the whatever it is, great. But a lot of times those get to be consistent. But for example, and this will be super meta, this sits on my desk every day. And when I have these shows, my phone goes on at this phone stand of, Double Take Promotions right here. So literally every time I'm doing one of these shows twice a week that I'm at the office, I'm thinking about Matt, and Matt is top of mind with me. It's not something that he needs to send me every month. It's not a check-in he has to have over and over, but he has truly sent me a piece of promotional product that fits my need, my culture, my brand, my day-to-day work, whatever it is. And so I'm constantly reminded of it without it being that super cheesy, like, hey, any friends and family or anybody else, like, that's how I get paid, whatever it is along those lines.
Yeah, there was no hard sell attached to that. I just sent it to you, and it was, I think I may have sent that to you along with a box of chocolates the first time you made a good introduction for me. Like, hey, thanks, here's something you might be able to use. And now it's sitting on your desk. So it's a win for everybody.
And I thought it was a doorstop, and my wife told me it was a phone holder. And I was like, oh, makes so much more sense.
I guess I forgot to include the instruction manual.
Well, like, listen, when Matt first logged on, I was telling about how I walked into a tree and I am not the brains of this operation. So it is what it is. All right. So we're talking externally. We've got the client appreciation. We've got the referral source generation. Now we're moving to kind of that culture building, employee engagement, recruiting. So I guess we've gone from B2C to B&B back to B2C in some manner, but like, how does it change our thought process when we're talking about that gift giving internally to set this culture, keep these employees, recruit great talent? Is there a difference there?
Well, it always all comes back to knowing your audience and knowing your target market. So if your target market in this instance is your own team, your own employees, you have to know something they're going to appreciate. So it always goes back to that core principle. But you mentioned the Great Resignation, and something I like to say is that no one's going to wear a polo shirt of their with their company brand on it if they don't like working there. So there are foundational things that need to be done to establish a sound, work culture. Promotional products can certainly help, and they can actually serve as a sort of grassroots marketing effort and a brand awareness instrument when people are proud to promote where they work and proud to showcase the brand of their employer. So yeah, I mean, the strategy, to answer your question, all starts from the same principle of knowing your audience, but it can be tied into different things. We as business owners are always, trying new team building initiatives, or we have running jokes that go across our firm, or just different things that we do, different areas of specialty, or different projects that we're working on, and so you can even tailor an employee gift to something that is on theme with another initiative you've done, and something that's only identifiable internally, but something that everybody's going to get a kick out of at the workplace. So it's about really drilling down to those things.
Do you draw a line between, I want to phrase this the right way. Like, look, I can buy shirts and force my office to wear them as their uniform, if you will, or I can give them shirts and we sponsor a 5K. We go to an event, we go to SeaWorld, whatever it is along those lines. Like, is there a difference between those things when it comes to promotional products, or really is it just the explanation of our culture if they're doing these things by choice?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a significant difference. The team building, the community service, the just after hours, or company retreat type of thing, where you all get together and you do something fun that's a little bit more relaxed and it's not work in the office. Using promotional products to kind of supplement those efforts. That's something that's seen more as fun. It's seen as a freebie. It's seen as something that's a way to just to deepen relationships and relate to our colleagues and coworkers outside the normal day-to-day function of our role. In terms of a company uniform, or requiring that you wear something showing off the company, there is definitely an advantage to that, but it has to be done in a way that is tasteful and also kind of on personal brand for the individuals that you're requiring or recommending do so. So not everybody feels comfortable wearing a polo shirt. Not everybody likes wearing a polo. Not everybody likes wearing a blazer. Not everybody likes wearing certain things. So what we've done for a lot of clients who wanted to implement some sort of company uniform, or like Zoom meeting uniform kind of program, is we'll set up a web store that they can share to their entire team with a few different options, and everybody can choose something that's suitable to them. So if I prefer to wear a quarter zip over a nice button-down shirt to give a professional look, and have the company logo on the chest or on the sleeve, I have that option. If I'm the type of person who wants to wear a polo shirt, I could do that. if I want to wear a Hawaiian shirt, like like you know, I mean, there's lots of different options out there, but requiring that everybody fit into a box is something that I would think more often than not is going to, you know, make people grumble about it rather than being proud and excited to get involved.
And the loudest one of that will be my wife. No, but seriously, so we've done the Orange County Bar Association has a 5K. I think we've sponsored it 3 or 4 years. The first year we ordered the same, you know, unisex shirts, and like all the ladies could not find. And this was like my parents came in, my wife's parents came in, some clients came over, referrals or whatever. Like none of them could find a comfortable shirt. I think they're super comfortable, but like they're cut for, you know, a fat white dude like me. And so it's different. So then the next year we got like the lady shirts, and then it went nuts. And everybody for like to this day will send pictures of that shirt from like 3 years ago, like still wear it on runs. It's a great, you know, it's dry fit. It's got the whole thing.
Yeah.
And you know, and it wasn't a cost difference. It was just us being stupid the first year and much smarter the second year to do exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. And you know, the promotional industry, like I said, I've been in this industry. I'm fourth generation in the industry, but I've even been doing this within my company for 11, going on 12 years. The industry has come a long way and has been driven a lot by retail. So, you know, in the old days, you know, 10 years ago, we were sort of emerging from the dark ages of where a promotional t-shirt was like a T-shaped, you know, box tee that nobody wanted to wear. And now there are lots of great quality, fashion forward, you know, comfortable, you know, shirts that are good for 5Ks and good for running and active wear and things like that. Like the industry has really come a long way in terms of what we have to offer. There's a lot of retail brands available as well. We do Nike, Under Armour, dry fit shirts for clients all the time. So yeah, it's definitely, it's just having that nuanced approach of rather than saying, okay, let's just, you know, treat this as like a mass purchase, you know, really thinking about, okay, well, who's going to wear this? Who's going to be benefiting from this? And how do we want to really have our firm come across? You know, it's just a little bit more thought that goes into it, but the, you know, exponentially better result and better reception from the people who are going to be involved.
Well, and there's the ability to jump on trends in a cool way. You know, I've got a pop socket from like Gray Robinson or something like that. You know, I got a bunch of fidget spinners a couple of years ago from different ones. You know, now there you go. Yeah. Well, and then like the current one, instead of buying a $9 stupid what is it with like it's the poppers, like the fake. It's not bubble wrap. It's like the fake plastic.
Yeah. My kids love those. They've got.
Me too, dude. Yeah. I thought it was the dumbest thing when you're paying like $15 for basically glorified bubble wrap. But then like, you know, I've got one for Firm Flex from Jay Ruane, who was a guest on the show a couple months ago. And like my kid and I will sit there, you know, doing the popper thing. Like it's just funny to see the promotional product side jumping on a lot of the most current trends, but to get an object that people truly like and will keep and will use and will enjoy.
Sure. I mean, those things are, you know, in a sense, those are like stress relievers, right? They're good for mindfulness. I mean, there is research that toys like that are good for mindfulness. They're actually very good for concentration, especially for people on the autism spectrum. So there are a lot of like important medically backed uses for products like that. But at the end of the day, they're for you know the masses, I guess you could say, they're essentially a stress relieving product. And I remember someone told me back when I was new in the industry, they were like, well, nobody sits there and squeezes a stress ball when they're stressed. The only way that a stress ball is good as a stress reliever is if you throw it at the person causing you stress. So, you know, it's just, this is the next iteration of a stress relieving product. But yeah, I mean, it's something that'll sit on your desk and it's not a hard sell, and it's, you know, it's brand awareness. It's staying top of mind, and you're playing with it with your kid, and you know, it's something that you're talking about it, and it's memorable. You know, so it achieved its use.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so as we get towards the end here, we're down to about 5 or 10 minutes. Client appreciation, referral generation, culture building, employee engagement, recruiting. Anything else that you want to make sure you share with our listener watchers here? Any other insight? We will have your final takeaway. So make sure you leave a little bit in the tank. But anything else you want to make sure we cover?
Yeah, just the fact that logistics is a huge component of what we do. Also, you know, we talk a lot about how we are creative partners, we're strategic partners to our clients, But something that we also do really well, and I think, a lot of promotional products companies have adapted and improved in the last couple of years, is the logistical management of a lot of these projects. So that's something that's actually pretty important in the program that we have set up with your firm for your clients. At the end of the day, we're all about making it as low touch and as easy to use as possible for the clients sending out gifts, right? Nobody wants to be spending a lot of time implementing that type of a client appreciation gift program. I've spoken with clients in the past who they say, oh, well, we've got 100 people, so I guess we'll all take, a few days and package everything together and then take it to the post office. I mean, that's crazy talk. We handle all of that behind the scenes for our clients. And that's something that's important, especially in this day and age where even for, internal promotion and staff gifts, many offices are not meeting all in one location anymore. So it's important to have the ability to drop ship gifts to everyone's home address, or everyone's, for client gifts, for everyone's office's address or everyone's preferred address, wherever they are. So that logistical component is something that's really important. It's something that we've worked really hard to be able to handle well for our clients.
And that being said, though, please, dear God, to everybody watching or listening to this, please, please, please don't call Matt in like 35 days on December 20th and be like, hey, man, we got to send Christmas stuff. So like, what can you get me on a 48-hour turnaround plus shipping time? Like, please don't be that person. Like, reach out. Is it too late now? Can people still reach out? Like, they can still do Christmas stuff now.
It's not too late now. But this year with the supply chain issues that we're all aware of, we've got our ear to the ground on that, I think, more than most, given that it's the nature of our industry. So there are definitely more limitations this year than in past years. So I mean, my encouragement for anyone listening who wants to get this going is, get it going now.
Don't wait.
The longer you wait, the more limitations there are. And especially if you're doing drop shipping to individual people, the shipping carriers are going to be just overwhelmed with volume. They're already, crying bloody murder that they can't get things delivered on time. So, but the other thing that we say to a lot of our clients is don't put so much pressure on yourself to make it a holiday gift. It's a gift at the end of the day. Okay. No one's sitting there, looking at their watch saying, well, I didn't get my gift from ABC law firm yet. Like, what's the deal? It's a gift. They're going to appreciate it. They're going to say thank you for it. They're going to be, they're going to have joy as a result of it whenever they receive it. So, don't put pressure on yourself and stress yourself out. And if you can't find the perfect thing available in time for the holidays, that's okay. Send a New Year's gift. Send something off time. I know that you're actually really big on that, not always sending something during the holidays. And, we do a lot of holiday gift business. It's the nature of our business, but we set up a lot of employee and client and referral source gift programs for clients of ours at random times throughout the year, because it makes more of an impact when you're not, part of the wave of, 1,000 other holiday gifts that someone's receiving. So I just say, let's all relax, enjoy the holiday season. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. We'll always figure out how to make it work.
Love it. All right. So our next episode is going to air 2:30 on Thursday. So an hour after you watched this episode on Thursday, an hour later, we're going to have Jennifer Gilman on. Jennifer's going to talk about how one size does not fit all, finding the right firm for you. Jennifer Gilman is a headhunter of sorts, recruiter of sorts, who basically helps lawyers walk through what the right fit for them would be when it comes to moving from one firm to another or leaving solo life or something along those lines to really find the right stuff for you. So to any lawyer watching this struggling with where they currently are and struggling with the throwback culture building or office culture of where they're currently at, might be a great episode to watch Thursday at 2:30 Eastern time, 1 hour after you watched this show. And before I get into Matt's final takeaway, I do want to touch on what we talked about at the beginning, what Matt talked about. We do have a system set up now where you can connect with Matt's products through us, through your CRM, to automate a lot of this stuff. Probably not for Christmas stuff, more on that as the referral shows up, as the lead calls you, as the case closes, things like that. We can get those lined up and going inside your system without really any extra work from you all. So if you're interested in that, please go ahead and drop a comment here, reach out to me or Legalese. But that being said, Matt, you have shared so much with us here, but I want a little bit more. So for somebody who's been listening for the last, 40 minutes or so, if they remember nothing that you said except what you're about to talk here, what is that biggest takeaway, that most important piece of advice? It can be something you've already said, it can be something totally different, but how do we help more attorneys become the exhibit A of a successful lawyer?
The term that's being thrown around a lot lately, which I'm really liking this philosophy, is account-based marketing, or ABM. That is going, and that's the way I think we all have to treat our marketing initiatives. And so that's what this is all about. It all starts with knowing your target market, understanding each client, and almost writing an entire marketing plan for that client, right? So you identify your ideal client persona and you create your entire marketing strategy about that persona. And that's where you start. So you mentioned in my bio at the beginning, I also write children's books. My second book just came out. And so you can see that at my website, mattdeutschman.com, which you said earlier. But my target market for my children's books are my kids. They're 5 and 3. I write a book. I test out every line on them. I make sure that they like it. I gauge whether or not it lands. And at the end of the day, I don't really care how well the books sell as long as they like it. And they're my accounts that I base my marketing off of. If they like what I do, I know it's going to work well for other kids their age. So it's the same thing in marketing. You have to identify who your target persona is and then test out your efforts on that persona and really strategize, work backwards based on that ideal persona that you're going after.
But here's the thing. In essence, isn't account-based marketing really just relationship building on a B2B level?
Yeah, it is, right? It's all about just knowing the person deeply. Well, how do you do that other than just building a deep relationship with that person?
Yeah.
It's a win-win, whatever. The deeper a relationship, the better you get to know your client or your referral source, center of influence, all the different personnel that we've talked about in the last 40 minutes or so. The better you get to know those folks, and the better you understand what they would appreciate from a gifting standpoint, the better, the more effective the gift is going to be, and the better it's going to achieve its desired results of standing out, staying top of mind, incentivizing, showing appreciation for that business and those referrals. So it's relationship building at the core.
All right, everybody. Matt Deutschman, Double Take Promotional Marketing, talking to us about promotional products. Sorry, I'm getting my words jumbled here. Client appreciation, referral generation, culture building, employee engagement, and recruiting. All of that stuff that we have touched on and really just touched on the surface of, because there is so much to this, going back to exactly what Matt's hammered on a bunch of times, building that real relationship and truly and genuinely understanding what you're trying to get out of this. So thank you so much for being with us, Matt. Thank you. We got the links for everybody and hope to chat with you soon.
All right. Thanks very much. I enjoyed it. Appreciate it.